Hey everybody, how you doing? JJP Tin Man Views of NYC. It's John. Just taking a look here. This is the building going up on the corner where I live, half a block down. Right down there's St. Mark's Place. That's where I live. Right down that way. That's my block right there. I live just about not far at all. There's a few doors down there down the block. Anyway, I just thought I'd check out the progress as they work on the building here. And actually, I saw quite a few guys. Oh, here's a couple guys. Starting to really make some progress. Took them a long time to get started on this building. Like a big hole in the ground for about a year and a half or so. Quite a while. Now they're moving forward, putting it up. A lot of people are not too happy that another, I guess, modern building is going up on my block. It's on the end of the block, actually right on the avenue here. And actually on 3rd Avenue, where I'm at right now. Well, actually it's 3rd Avenue that way. Everything north of St. Mark's there, that's 3rd Avenue. However, there's St. Mark's Place. Right on the other side of 3rd Avenue there is Astor Place. Huh? Yeah, different name, but it's the same street. 8th Street, they're both 8th Street. That's 8th Street. But that's 3rd Avenue. However, that's Astor Place. Oop, right there. And as you come along here now, you hit, that's the Cooper Union Library right there. Wonderful old building. And the thing about it is, everything on this side, though, as you go down, the Bowery is now not 3rd Avenue, it's actually the Bowery. And actually right here, though, it's called Cooper Square because of the Cooper Union School. It's got several buildings around here. And this little area is Cooper Square, right down along there, and it goes down for a block or so. There's a park right there. That's all part of Cooper Square. It's Cooper Square on this side, too. It's not 3rd Avenue now, but there's St. Mark's Place right there, like I showed you. Right there, it's like 3rd Avenue. Everything north, it's 3rd Avenue, not the Bowery. This is Cooper Square. This is also the Bowery, the famous avenue from the old days. It used to be the major thoroughfare in New York City when it was not quite as big as it is, of course, today. Anyway, so that's the Bowery as it heads south there. Anyway, there's a new building going up. Another new building right down there. So I started to say, like along the Bowery, Cooper Square, St. Mark's Place, 3rd Avenue, there actually are some, like, look at this thing. That's also Cooper Union. That's a very modern building right there. That's been there for, I don't know, maybe 5 or 6, well, more than that, maybe 7 years, 8 years on. Kind of an interesting green building. Environmentally, different architecture, that's for sure. And of course, we got lots of old buildings that are still around. But along 3rd Avenue, they're permitted more to, as you'll see, this one's a good one here. I like this new building, not new, but it's a few years old. That's on 51 Astor Place, or 101 Astor Place on this side. Over here, it's 51. Figure that out. Anyway. That building's very interesting. You can't see too much of the reflections today because it's kind of cloudy and it's partly sunny, but it's some great photographs on both sides of this building, over on the other side and this side, because of the reflections in the building. So I actually kind of like that one. There's the old Cooper Union right there. That's from like the early 1800s, that building. Abraham Lincoln made a speech there. Like before he ran for president. Anyway, so you can see though up the avenue, you'll see there's more modern rise. Not skyscrapers, but you know, they're like 12 to 15. I don't think they can go above like 12 stories, maybe a little more. But a lot of people, they really dislike the development like that. You know? The thing is, though, everything east of here, the avenues as you go east, you don't really see that much, you see new buildings, but you don't see the skyscrapers, not skyscrapers, the higher, taller buildings. Anyway, so we try to save as many of the buildings worth saving as possible. This corner here, though, people are unhappy about this, but look at this truck trying to make a turn down here. They're unhappy about it, but the thing is, you couldn't even really make a good argument for what was there on that corner. Try and save the buildings because they weren't architecturally interesting in any way. They weren't well kept over the years, and yeah, they were pretty shabby actually. But still, there are people that they don't care. They don't want to see anything modern or new. But this building's going up there. And they had to follow a lot of restrictions actually. Their first design was not accepted, and that's because as I pass here now, I'm going down my block. This is my block. There's all these outdoor stores here and tattoo parlors. They're all tattoo parlors. And this is an old hotel, St. Mark's Hotel, right here. That goes back to like the late 1700s, early 1800s. And but anyway, this building right here now, right here, this is one of the preserved historical buildings, and it's actually the Hamilton Holly House. Alexander Hamilton, I believe that was, I can on the sign, but I won't right now. I believe that was his mistress, and this is her home, her house, and it's been completely, as you can see, it's pretty nice. It's restored. They can't make any changes to it. It's also because of that old restored building there. It's why that building had a difficult time and had to change its design a few times to come under some rules that would make it acceptable to be right near these historical buildings. And if you'll notice, like a lot of the buildings on my block now, they're not new. Well, there's a couple of new ones, but they're mostly the older buildings. I think I don't know about 1700s, but there's certainly some early 1800s. And then there's my building. My building is right there, and it's 1899. Yeah, 1899. It actually has a name. It's called the St. Nicholas. I guess in the old days it was more of a, maybe it was like wasn't a hotel, but some of the buildings had names. I can't get to it from here. I could go across it maybe, but up along the top you can see where we can't see it from here. But it has, like, within the cement work, it says St. Nicholas. Anyway, nobody calls it that. Nobody even knows because you can't see it unless you know it's there. And you happen to have a view of it, like from the street, you can't see it. But anyway, that's my building. They've actually been, this building, recently, not too long ago, it was, well, not condemned, but it was kind of partially, I don't know what to call it, but they oops, I'm tripping going into my building here. They declared it unsafe and put up this notice one day right here. It's a vacate order. I saw that one day as I walked in here. I had no knowledge that there was anything going on. That's come in here and you'll see that standing there. My heart kind of dropped. I went, what the? Are you? I thought it was for everybody, but it's only for 5 apartments. Well, only for 5 apartments. Every apartment on this side, as I'm passing by, that's the west side of the building right there, 1C. All the apartments in that line, 1C, and as you go up 2C, 3C, 4C, and 5C, all the way up to the 5th floor. We only got 5 floors, there's 20 apartments in the building. All those people had to move out. They saw that notice. I don't know, I'm sure they might have gotten private notice. I have no idea. I never heard anything about it until I saw the sign. But the people in that, now I'm going into my apartment, the people in that, on that side there, they all had to move out because it wasn't safe. So they had to repair the outer structure of that side towards the front there, on that side of the building, outside, which you couldn't see when we were there because the buildings are so close together, but apparently there was structural damage in the brickwork. And so that's why they had to move out. Ooh, it was dark. Oh, here we go. My kitchen, small kitchen. Anyway, my old, like 19, I don't know what year. That's like maybe 1920s. Yeah, I got a stove that's 1920s. Yeah, unbelievable. But it works. You can't control any of the dials or the heat or anything. You just turn it on and go for it with the ovens and stuff. And I don't cook a lot, but so it's not a big deal for me. I do use it, of course, but someday, you never know. They've been doing a lot of stuff in my apartment. They've fixed quite a few things lately. That's one of the things, along with the people that had to move out. They had to repair that side of the building, and then they've got to do now every one of the apartments, because they had like joints and beams put inside so that they wouldn't collapse or whatever was going on. Here's my little bathroom. They actually did a lot of work recently in my bathroom, which is really in pretty good shape right now. It was terrible for years. All the plumbing, everything. There's another thing. Old sink. Plumbing was terrible. Toilet leaked, terrible. In the bathtub, drain was bad, leaks. All my plumbing was bad. In the kitchen too. But anyway, so they have to, like, now they fixed the building. People have not moved back in yet, but they're renovating all the apartments in that line, 1 through 5, fifth floor on that side of the building, because they want to rent the apartments. They're empty. And not only that, COVID times also added to the problem, in the sense that a lot of people moved out during COVID. People left. They actually left New York, but at any rate, they left the building. This is all over town, not just here. But the people that left our building, many of them just never came back. Well, of course, those 5 folks, whoever lived there, they are out, and I doubt that they'll come back, because it's been over a year and a half or more since those were vacated, so they'll probably never come back. Why would they want to, too, even though they're going to be all nice and renovated new? And that's what they're doing. They not only fixed the outer part of the building, so it's done. They're done with that work, but they're still working now inside on the hallways and all. Fixing all the hallways. They repaired the roof. They've done a lot of stuff inside all the stairwells and everything. Because we have different landlords. It's still the same family that owned the building for years. I had a terrible landlord and terrible recent landlord, but they were all the same family. But that landlord died exactly by coincidence. And I didn't even think of this, but it's 1 year ago today, September 11th, by the way, which everybody knows what a horrible date that is for New Yorkers to remember, on September 11th. 2001. But anyway, here's another one of my posters from a show I did for a long time. Traveled with the show, played the Tin Man. And that's a poster that was for the company. Of course, I got it when I've had it for years. Company's not around anymore, but we were around for years. I happened to get a good job with that company, because whenever they did The Wizard of Oz, after a certain period of time, I did a lot of shows with the company, but this was one in particular that they did a lot, and I played the Tin Man for a lot of years. I was with the company almost 20 years. Anyway, so anyhow, what was I saying? Oh, yeah. Well, anyway, so the building is actually the new landlords, which is still the same family, like I say, but the building has always been terrible, never been cared for, like people like myself on rent stabilization. I had all bad plumbing in here, too. Everything, it was just awful. I never got any care, never service. And I actually had a suit against the building, and I won my case. And so the building had to either pay me. Actually, I got a reduction in my rent. They were supposed to reimburse me with a sum of money, which they did not do. But because they didn't do that, I was given a deduction in my rent monthly, my rent stabilization. So my rent has dropped as I won my case. But then these new landlords who want to have to fix the outside, showed you those apartments and everything, and the hallways and everything. But they've kind of decided to do the right thing, treat people in the building right. We want to get these apartments that are all empty. There's only, I believe, 6 apartments out of 20. The rest, well, 3 of us are old heads, been here forever, and the rest are like, who's left in the building, 3 other apartments. They pay the big rent. We don't pay as much as they do, of course. But what's happened is these landlords, they've decided to get the whole building in order, not just what had to be repaired by the city that told them, repair it and you're fined money and everything. They're doing the right thing. They're fixing the hallways, like I said, the roof, everything. And they're renovating all the empty apartments, not just the ones that were in that line first floor through fifth floor that the people had to vacate, renovating all of those, and every other apartment that's empty because they can get the market value rent. Not like me that they get rent stabilization from. So, but they're doing it right, and they also, like I said, that's why we have a building manager now, and that person, they made sure that I got taken care of. In other words, no more lack of services, and that's why they were in here making little repairs, taking care of all the plumbing, which is all done now, and they even did some other stuff all throughout the apartment, and that was due to this lady that's a manager. But that just shows you that the new landlords are going to do the right thing, and from here on, and that's a good thing. I mean, that's a very good thing, and since I have a little lower rent than I did have, and they fixed all my stuff like my plumbing and such, and did some painting in here. There was a lot of like this wall, for example, behind that poster and such. Those walls were just really bad, all cracked, and there were leaks from above that came down through there, and oh man, it was just awful. And they fixed all of that, fixed my floors a bit in here. This wall over here had a lot of damage, all big open cracks and stuff like that, and they fixed all that. That was great. That's great. So I got all this work done, and that's a good thing. I don't know that I'll stay here forever, but I've been here since 1976. Oh, there's a Tin Man right there. I've got that on my lamp there. I have Tin Man stuff all over the place from that memorabilia from that company I worked with, although a lot of it's not here right now because when they did the work in my apartment, I took a lot of stuff down and put it away. I haven't put stuff out. I got so much stuff. I got way too much stuff everywhere. That's the way my apartment is. Still, this used to have a lot of stuff up here. I just haven't put it back. But and I used to get things from kids when I would do the show. All of us that were the four. The Scarecrow, the Lion, the Tin Man, and Dorothy. We would get stuff the kids would bring to the shows. We'd meet them afterwards, meet and greet. And I got a lot of little nice things, little Tin Man statues and all kinds of things, which is great. Anyway, that's it for now. That's all I'm going to say. I got to go in here and get something nice and cool to drink in my kitchen. So anyway, just showing you that. Showed you the building outside. Now we're in my apartment briefly. Didn't show you the whole thing because a lot of it's a mess right now. But anyway, anyhow, that's it for now. That's it from me. I haven't made a video this long in a long time. This is almost 17 minutes because I haven't been able to. Somehow I finally got some space back on my phone. See, I haven't even put things back on shelves. I had everything out of here. So I haven't really got it together yet. But at any rate, so anyhow, I'm able to make a video. And I haven't been making many. And I thought, well, let me make this. I never thought I'd go this long. It's almost 18 minutes. But anyway, now I'm getting myself a nice cool drink out of the refrigerator. And that's it. This is JJB Tin Man, views of NYC, and also it ends up being my apartment that has services now, not lack of services for what was like 48 years or so that I've lived here, no services until now recently to get all the things taken care of. And anyway, that's all from me, JJB Tin Man, views of NYC and John's apartment. Bye-bye.